Hello from the other side, CJ here. Today, we're taking a closer look at, thank you, the TechLife Pad Pro, the 12-inch LTE model to be exact. It's a mid-range tablet that promises decent performance, a large display, all at an affordable price. Whether you're gaming, watching videos, or working on the go, this tablet aims to handle it all. Let's see if it delivers. Starting with design, the Pad Pro keeps things simple and clean. It has a glass front and an aluminum alloy back that gives it a slightly premium feel for the price. It's pretty slim at 7.3 millimeters, which makes it nice to hold in either portrait or landscape. Even though the device is quite large, it feels well balanced and doesn't get tiring too quickly when you're reading or watching a long video. The weight is not listed officially, but from handling it, it feels similar to most mid-sized 12-inch tablets. As for buttons and ports, the layout is straightforward. On the right side, you'll find the power button and volume rockers. However, I do find myself clicking the power button more often when I'm trying to adjust the volume. Anyway, at the bottom, you see the speaker grill, USB-C port, and the SIM card tray. And on the top, you'll get the other speaker outlet to complete the quad speaker setup. There's no stylus support here, but you can pair it with the dedicated keyboard case, which is sold separately. Display-wise, as the name suggests, the Pad Pro comes with a 12-inch IPS LCD panel with up to 90 Hz of refresh rate and full HD Plus resolution. Brightness peaks at 480 nits, which is decent for indoor use, though outdoor visibility in direct sunlight could be a bit challenging. Colors look natural and consistent, though you won't get the punchy contrast of OLED screens. The quad stereo speakers deliver surprisingly immersive audio for a tablet in this segment. Volume is strong enough to fill a small room, and stereo separation is clear, making it good for streaming videos, casual gaming, or video calls. For biometrics, the tablet only supports face unlock. It works reliably under good lighting, but can struggle a bit in darker conditions. There's no fingerprint sensor, so your face recognition is gonna be your main security method other than the usual PIN and pattern unlock methods. In my experience, I spent my time catching up on shows and reading ebooks. The screen is large and comfortable enough for long sessions despite its large bezels. I caught up with a book I've been meaning to read with how much ease I had on the tablet in portrait mode. Colors and text clarity are very usable, and the speakers complement casual video watching without requiring headphones. Overall, the display is solid for media and productivity. It's not the brightest and most color-accurate screen, but it delivers a comfortable, enjoyable experience for binge watching, reading, or light gaming. Now, let's talk about the cameras. While cameras are not the main focus for tablets, they get the job done, at least for video calls and online classes. The TechLife Pad Pro comes with a 13-megapixel rear camera and an 8-megapixel front camera. While they're usable, they're definitely not the tablet's strongest suit. The rear camera can take decent photos in good lighting, but it takes a while to focus on subjects. You often need to hold still longer than usual just to get a clear shot. It can be a strain to do so considering the size of the device. Noise isn't a huge problem in well-lit areas, but the camera still struggles to lock focus reliably, so you might end up with soft or slightly blurry images even when the lighting is fine. Dynamic range is limited and highlights can be blown easily, so it works best for simple documentation rather than creative photography. The 8-megapixel front camera is serviceable for video calls and occasional selfies, but it's nothing special. It produces acceptable detail as long as you're in a bright environment. Video recording is basic as well, as the tablet records at 1080p at 30 frames per second. It looks okay, but not particularly crisp. Footage looks okay under good light, but the focus isn't very steady, and movement introduces noticeable softness and clarity. This is a sample video for the front camera of the TechLife Pad Pro shooting at 1080p at 10 frames per second, so this is what it looks like. Do you guys like it? Let us know in the comment section below. Overall, the camera system gets the job done for scanning documents, quick snaps, or video calls, but it's not really something you'd rely on for high-quality shots. Either way, the cameras are going to be convenient when you need it, at least for online meetings and conferences. Under the hood, the TechLife Pad Pro runs on the MediaTek Helio G200 chipset paired with 8GB of RAM and a Mali G57 MP2 GPU. For storage, you get 256GB that's expandable up to 1TB via microSD, which is always a plus in our book. In benchmarks, the tablet scored around 408,000 in Antutu V10, which is decent enough to handle productivity apps, multimedia, and casual gaming without major issues. Gaming performance varies depending on the title. Wuthering Waves, as expected, struggles even at recommended settings with occasional frame drops and stutters during intense sequences. MOBA games like Pokemon Unite is smooth and responsive with consistent frame rate throughout. Using the recommended settings applied when you first boot the games, the battery life estimated is as follows. High graphic settings can be a bit too much for the Pad Pro. The tablet warms up noticeably during long sessions, especially in heavier games, and some stutters or dips in performance are more evident. For lighter tasks like browsing, streaming shows, reading ebooks, and note-taking, the tablet still feels snappy and responsive, so there's that. On the software side, the Pad Pro ships with Android 15. Even though it does, however, it honestly feels closer to Android 13 or even older in terms of features. That's probably because this one's running stock Android without much features that I'm used to having. You don't get any of the newer AI tools that are becoming common in other devices. There's no circle to search, no AI-assisted shortcuts, and none of the fancy generative features you see on most devices nowadays. What you do get are the basics that are still useful day to day. It supports split screen and one pop-up window, but there's no option to enable both. Besides that, animation and UI elements don't feel as polished as newer stock Android builds or even Android skins for that matter. For casual users or students, this won't be a deal breaker, but anyone expecting the fluidity and refined UI of the latest flagship Android devices may notice the difference. Pre-installed apps are minimal and you have the option to expand storage via microSD, but the settings interface feels slightly dated compared to modern Android skin layouts. This won't cause major issues, but power users might find some menus unintuitive. Either way, the OS is still stable, functional, and familiar if you've used older Android tablets before. Other than that, it ends up feeling like a bit of a step back in some key areas. It's still good, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't fully deliver a satisfying software experience we'd hope for. Connectivity is complete for a mid-range tablet. You get 4G LTE, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and USB-C with OTG support. NFC is not available here, which is expected. The 10,000 mAh battery sounds decent on paper, but in real-world use, it doesn't quite live up to expectations. Our PC-mark battery testing recorded 12 hours and 1 minute, which is decent for benchmarks, but in actual use, the battery often runs low already by mid or late afternoon. Even with such a large capacity, getting only around half a day of heavy use is fairly subpar. For context, I've used the tablet for streaming shows, reading ebooks, and doing my dailies in games. It ran low by the middle of the day. Once you start multitasking or running more demanding apps, the drain becomes more apparent. Charging is fairly quick with the 33-watt fast charger, and reverse charging via USB-C is convenient if you need to top up earbuds or any accessories. Overall, the battery gets you through casual usage, but it's not the endurance powerhouse you might expect from a 10,000 mAh battery. Heavy users will likely need to keep a charger around to make it through a full day. Wrapping things up, the TechLife Pad Pro is a decent tablet overall, mostly because you're in for a nice multimedia experience on a big screen. The 12-inch 90Hz display is decent, and the quad speakers give a nice loud sound. Performance handles everyday tasks well and casual games, but you may have to set your expectations when it comes to heavier titles. Battery life could be better. Even with a large 10,000 mAh cell, it tends to last only about half a day if you're using it heavily. But aside from these shortcomings, the tablet is decent enough for everything else, especially for your entertainment needs, mainly thanks to its large screen and nice audio quality. On top of that, the 4G cellular support adds that kind of convenience, especially if you're someone who's always on the go. As for pricing, the tablet alone goes for 13,999 pesos, and if you add the keyboard case, it goes up to 15,999 pesos. Yeah, it has a few rough edges, but for the price, it's a pretty solid pick for anyone who wants a large screen for smooth reading or binge watching. And that's it for this review. What do you think of the TechLife Pad Pro? Will you get it anytime soon? Let us know in the comment section below. Ooh, that was close. If you find this video helpful or informative, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel at the bell icon so you won't miss out on any of our future uploads. See us on the socials, that's Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok, and siyugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been CJ, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! See you later!